In Arizona, when you do have to probate an estate, how long does that typically take?
The best case scenario is somebody who has kept up on their taxes. They have their documents organized. I don't need you to provide a list of all of the assets that you own and where they are, but I do need you to have some of your documents accessible. I need your kids or loved ones to know what your estate contains, if that's property, if that's bank accounts, if that's investments, what that looks like. In the best case scenario, I usually prep my clients that it's going to take at least a year. Most of them are between 18 months and 2 years. And the reason for that is because you have to follow an order of operations in Arizona. And typically the thing that's going to take the most time is resolving issues with creditors. If there's a business in there, that's going to take a bit longer oftentimes, and especially handling tax issues. When you're dealing with a loved one and maybe people haven't stayed on top of that person, we don't have a power of attorney, nobody's been checking in on them, we usually find that they haven't done their taxes in a number of years. And if you have to go back and do all of those things, it can take a long time to collect those documents, review all of it, get everything organized. And those things have to be done before you do a final distribution. In the best case scenario for a trust administration, I would still say probably a year. For somebody who's been on top of their stuff and they get their taxes done right away and they get all of the things organized and this person has done their due diligence, we don't even need a probate. I can get that done in probably 6 to 9 months in just, it has to be a pristine case. The majority are not. I don't have many clients that are in that window.
And now you're saying full-time. Is that from opening a estate to closing a estate? Because most of the people, right, they think of probate in the terms of when can I sell that house and when can I get money in my bank account, right? Versus, obviously, eventually you're filing a tax return and doing all the accountings and all that stuff. So from let's say when they petition to open a probate to when they can sell mom's house and give money to everybody in their family in Arizona, what's that timeline typically like?
Okay, so Arizona has 2 different avenues that you can take depending on what your circumstances look like. There's an informal route, and the informal route means you don't have to go through the courts at all. You can go through the registrar's office. In there, it really depends on the court that you're in, right? Coconino County, Yavapai County, Pinal County, some of those are taking between 6 weeks for the registrars to look at those documents and get your letters issued. If you have to go the formal route, that usually means you're missing some type of documentation, you can't get a hold of an heir. There are just a couple of things that we want to run through a judge first and make sure that a judge is involved in that situation. That involves getting a court hearing, and the majority of courts around Arizona right now are taking probably 8 to 12 weeks to schedule that initial hearing. And so from both of those circumstances, what you need to sell the property is you need authority. And in Arizona, a lot of people think I have a will, I'm nominated in the will, my name is here, this is enough. It's not. Yep. You really need to be authorized, and the will needs to be probated so that you can get that authority. So you have to go through either the registrar's office informally or the courts formally. And then once you have your letters of personal representative, you can move forward with actually selling the property. Some people, if they've been living in that property, I have a case right now where the woman and her husband were looking to sell the home, and they were in the middle of getting the house sold, and the husband passed away, which is just terrible. They have a buyer lined up, everything was ready to go, and they said, we just can't do anything without letters. You can put the house on the market, you can get the house touring, all of those kinds of things if you already had access to the property, if it's something that you are familiar with. But you can't sell the property until you have letters of personal representative.